welcome, my friends. I want to talk today about a topic that I know a lot of people seem to struggle with, and that's leaving the past behind, letting things go that you have maybe hung on to for years, or maybe even something as recent as a week ago, because every time that you dwell in anything in the past, you are living out of your time frame. And let me explain what I mean by that. This is a bit of a rabbit hole, so stay tuned. So let me start here. There's two areas with which we tend to not let go of things in the past. And one area is what somebody has done to us. Somebody has abused us or done something wrong to us. The other area is what we ourselves struggle to forgive ourselves for. So within these two areas, now remember, this is in the past. So whatever has happened is happened, and there's no changing it going forward, okay? So number one, let's talk about the people and the things that have affected us in a negative way. You had an opportunity to learn from those things or just be negatively affected by them. Now, both is likely, but if you learn from them, then the past doesn't seem as extreme because you're probably not going to subject yourself to that situation again, or you learned how to handle that. If it's something that you yourself personally did, may not be as easy because the hardest thing that we ever have to do is forgive ourselves for things we've done. But let's look at that for a moment, because the fact is that you changed so much in your life. If you think back, now I'm an older person, I think back even 10 years ago, that I am not that person that I was 10 years ago. I don't think the same things. I don't think the same way. I don't have the same belief structures. I would not react today to something that happened in the past the way I reacted at that time. You will find, if you think about it, you would be exactly the same. So even if you look back farther, it's even more obscure. Some of the stuff early in your life seems like somebody else's life. And in fact, it really was, because that person is not who experienced that. That was the younger you who, knew much less than they know, or were much less wise than you are now, and much less aware of all the facets. I mean, all the things that can happen to you in your life, good and bad, they're all going to happen. Okay. Now, maybe not the exact same things, but you're going to have good and bad happen. It's a random thing. Life is. I know we try to plan things, but it's very random. So when they come along, you can only respond to them with the knowledge and the wisdom and the person that you are today. So for you to think back on a time where you did something that would be unacceptable to you as you are now, it's ridiculous because you weren't that person. Okay, so what causes even going back there and reviewing that? What causes that is emotions, which are caused by thoughts. So really want to get into thoughts. So speaking of thoughts, if you stop and think about it, you'll notice that thoughts are very random. They come and they go, and something you look at might bring up a memory or a thought. And that's not a problem. Thoughts can come and go as they choose. You don't really have much control of them. If I say to you, brown teddy bear, now you're thinking of a brown teddy bear. Did you have any control over that? No, I just put that out there, and your mind thinks of all your associations with brown teddy bears. So thoughts beget categories and all these things and all the past. Okay, and some of them will be attached with certain emotions. But keep in mind, you have complete control of what you decide to think about. So if a thought comes into your mind, something you saw a picture and it reminded you of someone that had done you wrong, or something that you are uncomfortable with that you did, what you choose to do with that thought is yours. You can let it go. You can say, in the past doesn't really pertain to the me that I am now. or you can dwell on it and feel bad, and now you're in that emotional upset. Now you're suffering something that happened way back, and you will continue to do that until you make the decision that this person that I am now is not responsible for the person that was, or the person who did this to me, and I'm choosing to let that thought go. Like a cloud in the sky, it just dissipate and move on. And the more you get in practice of doing that, the simpler it is. I think two things you got to consider here. Many thoughts that are negative for you are based on belief systems. And I have done some videos on dropping as many belief systems as you can. And there's a reason for that, because in order for you to go forward as you are today, and tomorrow when you get up going forward as you are then, you're going to need to let go of all former previous notions and categories and things that you put in little boxes. You have to let go of all that stuff in order to create a fresh new world as you are today. And the reason I harken back to belief systems on this stuff is because, think about it. If you were growing up, say you're 8 years old or something, and you'd never seen a bug, and all of a sudden a wasp comes along, lands on you, and it's kind of interesting because you've never seen anything like that before, and then it stings you. You may very well, as an 8-year-old, believe that all bugs sting. Okay? And remember, most of the problems that we have in the world are based on what people believe of others. Okay, I met a Hispanic person who I thought was rude, so now I think they're all rude, or I have a tendency to be wary of them because they're rude or something, or even things that over time that we've developed, like wealthy people are arrogant, or we have these categories. We put people in categories. The worst thing you can possibly do. This is why people have trouble with gay people, because they don't know a gay person, so they don't understand that concept. So instead of looking into it or getting to understand them and listen to them, I mean, how many people who are like anti-gay people would actually sit there and listen to a gay person talk about their lives? They wouldn't do it because they have a belief system. They have a preconceived notion. And this is like the worst for all of us. And this is why I always harken back to belief systems, because the more you can drop those and look at life fresh and look at your situation fresh and make a conscious decision based on who you are now, not the idiot you might have been 20 years ago, the better off you're going to be and the clearer headed you will be. And look, I know I go off on tangents on this stuff, but belief systems are pretty primary. I mean, I want to give you one more example. If you look at the media and you look at politics and you look at some of the things that are in your face every day in the media, you would get the impression that all these people from around the world are just out to get you, because that's the image that they present. Negativity sells, fear sells. Okay, this is why I don't pay attention to any of that stuff anymore. But if you ever have done some traveling, you might be curious and notice that, wow, the people here are so nice, and these people are so friendly and welcoming, and all of a sudden you realize that, well, it's not the people that are out to get you. Most people in the world are genuinely kind, friendly, and warm and accepting people. But that is not the impression you're going to get from maybe your local politician, or by looking at some tragedies that happened that might have involved somebody from another country, or what some other leader said about the United States. If somebody in Russia says something bad about the United States, you can't assume everybody in Russia hates the U.S. So that's what I'm saying. You do a little traveling, you recognize that none of that is true. So you have to be careful what you accept and what you decide to believe. And you want to limit your beliefs as much as possible, because most of them have nothing to do with your day-to-day right now, as you are. Okay, Paul, where'd you go on that long train? Let's go back to the topic. So I'm going to recap this for you. The topic was leaving the past behind. And then How do we do that? We make sure that we don't take any responsibility for things that we did as a different person years ago. We don't take responsibility for how we responded to things that happened to us years ago because we were not the person that we are today. And we limit our belief systems. So we're not still categorizing stuff based on what happened in the past. That way, you're always going to be open to a new idea, a fresh idea, a new outlook. And remember, when thoughts come in, you have the freedom and the choice to let them go as clouds and just move on if they're not thoughts that you want to entertain, or follow them if it's something that you're interested in. I get a lot of creative thoughts. Well, I want to follow those. And sometimes I'll jot them down because I'm getting old and the thoughts don't stay in there that long. So follow the ones you want to follow. Let the ones go that need to be let go. And by all means, let the past stay in the past. Thanks for listening.